Yo, what's good? My name is Reginald, aka the R-Star, aka Mr. Straight Fire, and this is Unabashed Reggie's reaction, breakdown, analysis to Eminem's Kings Never Die.
They say kings never die, just as Jan as the J. They just grow wings and they fly, so heads up, reach for the sky. I made it to the silver screen, but Rocky still with the thing. It's Khalil on the beat, cause making the beat ain't the same feeling to me as killing the beat is so fulfilling to me is what feeling is it.
Before we start, remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Plus, if you got $1 to give, please head over to my Patreon and show me your support there. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. You can still help by liking my page on Facebook and sharing the content on social media. King Never Dies was released on the Southpaw movie soundtrack in July of 2015. It's produced by DJ Khalil and features Gwen Stefani. Now, what do I think of the song? I'll be honest, the first time I heard it, I kind of dismissed it because I felt we had already had that type of song with Won't Back Down featuring Pink and Survival featuring Liz Rodriguez, all produced by DJ Khalil. But the more that I listened to it, the more I realized that this is a better song overall. This is also another rock type of beat, but I feel like the instrumental in this one is a little bit cleaner than the other two songs. And what makes the beat is that drum pattern because it dictates how Eminem will flow and construct his rhyme. It's a great song. The song is about Eminem feeling like he's no longer on top, but want to get there again, and he will keep rapping no matter what. And in that song, there are a lot of references to older lyrics and even similar rhymes, but that's not laziness. It's part of the concept of his legacy never dying and how his music and lyrics will always be remembered. So he pays homage to himself in a way. That's why I'll mention all the lines that reminds me of previous song. Now for the breakdown, what I do is I look at the rhymes and I give my own explanation of the lyrics. And yes, this is a much longer video than my previous ones. I did think about only doing some parts of some verses, but I have taken so long to release a new video. I'm really sorry for that, so I felt like I owed you more content, at least this time. The first verse is really about Eminem questioning this place and relevancy in the rap game. It's about him feeling like he fell off. He's aware that he's no longer the center of attention as he was at the height of his career. So he's wondering what happened and how can he get it back, which is interesting because a high level of fame is something Eminem has complained in the past. But really, he's always struggled with wanting fame, but what comes with it. Like in Monster, when he said, I wanted the fame, but not the cover of Newsweek. The first 4 bars are around the in it sounds, like a drumming or plummet. And what that creates is an assonance around the sound. An assonance is when there's a succession of similar sounds, especially vowels. I can hear the drummer drumming and the trumpets. Someone's trying to summon someone, I know something's coming. Here you have an alliteration with the S sound. Trumpets, someone's trying to summon someone, I know something's coming. But I'm running from it. To be standing at the summit and plummet, how come it wasn't what I thought it was? Was it too good to be true? Have nothing, get it all, but too much of it. Let's look at the content. What I see here is once again a struggle with fame. He feels that the whole fanfare is coming once again because people want him to drop new music. So he's someone people are trying to summon. And because he will drop new music, he knows the spotlight will be back on him. But he doesn't want it, so he's running from it. And after that, he uses a juxtaposition with summit and plummet to talk about how he feels he fell off because he was at the top of the game and no longer has the same attention. And in the same line, he talks about his dislike for the fame. So you see the struggle I'm talking about? And he makes a comparison with drugs and his overdose when he says, get it all, but too much of it. He wanted the fame, but got so famous that it was overwhelmed. Like the line in Say Goodbye to Hollywood. This is not the game, this fame. In real life, this is sick. For the next 4 bars, the pattern is on a 4-syllable rhyme around the sounds of lose it again. Then lose it again, did I swallow a hallucinogen? Cause if not, what the hell did it go? Cause here I stayed in Lucifer's den by the Dutch oven, just choosing to sin, even if it means I'm selling my soul just to be undisputed again. Do whatever I gotta do just to win. Notice a subtle rhyme with even if it means him. Here is wondering if it's just an illusion that he's no longer on top, but wonders what happened. Because he's still feeling the effect of fame by not being able to go out how he wants to without creating a riot. So he's in his own little hell as in Lucifer's den, and I like how he said, where the hell did it go? Then talks about the devil. More importantly, in those lines, he reveals to us that he wants to be #1 again. That's what undisputed means, and that he would even sell his soul again for it. The next 8 bars are all around the ow sound, like in mountain, around, or doubt. Cause I got this motherfucking cloud over my head, crown around it, thorns on it, cracks in it. Bet you morons didn't. Thorns on it, morons didn't. Think I'd be back, did ya? How about that? I'm somehow now back to the underdog, but no matter how loud that I bark, this sport is something I never bow out at. Eminem at this point feels he's now the underdog again because he has to prove he still hasn't. And he makes a wordplay around dog too. He does so with the homophones of bow out and bow wow. To bow out is to quit, and bow wow is the barking of a dog. The real meaning of that line is that no matter how much he barks, he won't quit the rap game. But when you add bow wow, it goes with the barking. And being an underdog is something he must really feel because he's talked about it in a lot of his recent verses, like in Guts Over Fear or Detroit versus Everybody. I complain about the game, I shout and I pout, it's a love-hate, but I found out that I can move a mountain of doubt even when you bitches are counting me out. I appear to be down for the count. Only time I ever been out and about is driving around town with my fucking whereabouts in the doubt. Cause not only do you have the how out sounds, the scheme became out and is and out again. So shout and I pout, mountain of doubt, counting me out and about, whereabouts in the doubt. As I mentioned earlier, his delivery follows the drum pattern, and I love how when he says love-hate, it's synced with the double snare. Since this song is for a boxing movie, Eminem makes sure to have a nice wordplay around that theme. He does that with the homophones out and about, which sounds like out in a bout, knocked out in a fight. So that goes with being down for the count, but then the next line is linked to out and about, which means to just be outside and chilling or driving around. All in all, he's never going to be down for good. Cause I've been lost trying to think of what I did to get here, but I'm not a quitter, gotta get up, give it all I gotta give up, spit on, shit on, stepped on, but kept going. I'm trying to be headstrong, but it feels like I slept on my neck wrong, cause you're moving on to the next, but is the respect gone? Peep the nice alliteration with the G's. Get here, gotta get up, give it all I got or give up. Plus notice how the lines before was whereabouts in a doubt, then follows it with being lost. So once again, he wonders what happened to his status in the rap game. And the last line confirms his doubt as he ponders if people have just moved on and don't consider him part of the elite anymore. Also, we have another reference / similarity to a previous song, and this one is pretty obvious. It's the beginning of Lose Yourself, his last verse. I've been chewed up and spit out and booed off stage, but I kept rhyming. And there will be plenty of those type of references in the next verses. Alright, before we move on to the next verse, just a quick reminder that if you enjoy this content, subscribe to my channel and go like my page on Facebook. And if you're feeling extra generous, head over to my Patreon page and toss me a buck. Thanks in advance. Let's continue. In the second verse, you can feel Eminem starting to gain back his confidence and feel like the questioning is slowly leaving. Although he thinks about the result of it, which will be more fame. This is also one of the least structured Eminem verses in terms of rhyming. As the verse goes on, it's harder and harder to tell where a line starts and ends because the rhyming doesn't follow the bars, and lines and rhymes can last half a bar or a bar and a half. Also, what's interesting in this verse, he adds different patterns inside a pattern. It'll rhyme on a pattern, then in the middle of it, switch to something else, then come back to the original. You'll have to see this. The first 8 and 9 bars, depending how you count them, are around the E, and IR sounds, like in meet to retire. But he'll add other sounds here and there to make it more complex. Don't give me that sob story, a little alliteration with the S's, liar. Don't preach to the choir. You ain't never even had the reach in the fire to dig deep. Nobody ever handed me shit in life, not even a flyer. Preaching to the choir means to try to convince someone who's already feels like you do. So Eminem is saying that he doesn't want to hear anyone complain about their situation because he's been through tough times himself. And he uses in hyperbole by saying no one gave him anything, not even a flyer, and flyers are given to anyone walking down the street. And the reach in the fire to dig deep, I had to think a lot about it. So here's my interpretation. First, to dig deep means to put out a lot of effort and find inner strength to get out of a tough situation. Now, according to the Bible, the center of the earth is made out of fire and brimstones. So Eminem is saying he had to dig so deep to get to where he is that he reached the fire that's at the center of the planet. Now, that's deep. Would even take shit into consideration, obliterate anyone in the way. Now that's what I was talking about. He just switches the pattern in the middle of the scheme, then we'll go right back to it. But I love the rhyming here. Take shit, consideration, obliterate, in the way. I think I see why a lot of rappers get on these features and try to show out on a track with me, but I actually have to be, again, just switches to a different pattern for one bar, a fucking blowout to get me to retire. Tell these new artists that kings never die. Nice metaphor here. Other rappers want to get on songs with Eminem to show that they can get the best of him, but it would have to be a blowout, meaning complete destruction, for Eminem to quit rap. The play is on blowout and retire, like a tire blows out, so he would have to retire, as in changing a tire. The upcoming lines are around the rhyming Twitter page, which he broke down in 3 rhymes. Check it out. I know shit has changed in this age, fuck a Twitter page. Did it just say I've been upstage? Why am I online? It's driving me crazy. I'm riding shotgun, try to get a gauge on what's hot, but I'm not one to conform, but it's days. Notice the rhyming of shotgun, hot but, and not one. The overall rhyming of this section is brilliant. How he rhymes Twitter page with been upstage or get a gauge. In those lines, he acknowledged the new reality of social media where people can just give their opinion at will and crap on artists sometimes. And he also uses it to get a feel for the current state of hip-hop. And he makes a nice wordplay with shotgun and gauge. There's a homophone with gauge. Gauge as in trying to get a feel for something, and as in 12 gauge, which is a shotgun. And what's funny about him saying he's riding shotgun, meaning on the passenger side of a car, which is also a play on driving me crazy, it's that Eminem has said that he doesn't know how to use a computer. So he's literally probably sitting next to someone when he goes online. He's literally riding shotgun. Plus, another meaning of getting a gauge on what's hot could be that he's targeting who's on top of the game and will try to destroy his competition. The next bars still end with the A sound, but with different combination of a 3-syllable rhymes. And what's also cool in those bars, there is another 3-syllable pattern around passionate. Passing this shit in opinion sways, I can hear him say, if I stay passionate, maybe I can stage a miraculous come back as if I went away, but the tracks just say so much for the renegade. Someone's gonna blow my composure, here I go again, center stage, and I feel like I'm in the cage. So that other pattern I was talking about, passing this, passionate, miraculous, come back as if the track just, you might notice that the N in the passing this is of a different color than the N sound and opinion. The reason why is simply because I want to differentiate the 2 patterns. And of course, we have a callback to the Renegade song. Then at this point, he goes into his vintage singing where he layers his voice in 3 ways. High pitch, normal, and deep. That's what creates that effect. I've always loved when he busts out that sort of singing. And what's interesting too, in this song, every time he goes into singing, that section is in its own rhyming scheme. They still want a champion to fall. It's no wonder why I laugh at him, because why can't we win them all? So fuck what these cynics say. Here goes back to rapping and to the original pattern at the same time. Then he'll sing again to return to the all sounds and rap a couple of words to the original pattern to rhyme cynics say. It just goes to show that when my back's against the wall and I'm under attack again, that I'll act as if I'm poster with this pin-up page. Here we have a metaphor where he compares himself to a poster by using homophones. First he says that his back is against the wall, just like a poster. Then under attack hides a homophone of under a tack, where attack is what you use to pin a poster, which goes with pin-up page that he pronounced like pin-up. And also, I'll act as if I'm supposed to, which hides poster. Another reference to a previous song, again, the wordplay of under attack. It's something that he used in Almost Famous on Recovery. Here I come screaming attack like I just stepped on one. And now he sings the rest of those bars. Because all these plaques in my office on the floor stacked against the door, are they just metaphor for the odds of? Here notice how he pronounced odds of to rhyme with office. Me coming back again because all these accomplishments, accolades, awards, and trophies just don't mean jack anymore. If I'm here today and gone tomorrow, then I'm not gonna be. That's a direct callback to the last lines of Beautiful's first verse. Here today, gone tomorrow, but you would have to walk 1,000 miles. And plaque in my office reminds me of Dre and Forgot About Dre. Wall full of plaques hanging up in the office like trophies, which Eminem actually ghost wrote. Now the metaphor he's talking about comes from the expression having the odds stacked against you. Also, that his door is blocked by the plaques, so he might not be able to get out to make a comeback. To sum it up, all the album sales and awards have no meaning if he's forgotten. Which reminds me of the last line of Till I Collapse. A plaque and platinum status is whack if I'm not the baddest. So before we get into the last verse, once again, final time, remember to subscribe and like this video and go on my Facebook page. Now on to the last verse. In the final verse, he's gained his full confidence and is ready for this so-called comeback to ensure his legacy lives on forever. His legacy and reflecting on his career is definitely a common theme in his recent songs and verses such as Legacy, of course, Medicine Man, Best Friend, or Guts Over Fear. And the last one can be broken down into two verses because it's kind of separated by a singing bridge. Let's look at the first part. Verse. I want it and I'm coming to get it, so you son of a bitches don't duck, you're gonna get ridickled. Critics will end up in critical, think your shit is dope, all you're gonna get is smoked. Ridickled, critical, shit is dope, get it smoked. Also notice that it starts with the same sounds as the first verse with the in it sounds. Although the get and it sounds are almost the same, I just put them into different shades to highlight the pattern better, just like Riddick and Critics. Riddick Bowe is a retired American heavyweight boxer who won 33 of his 43 wins by KO. So Eminem is saying that he's coming out swinging, and if rappers and critics don't duck, they will get knocked out. And I ain't stopping till I'm on top again, all alone and on a throne, like a token of respect or an homage poem or an ode I've been owed, tossed in the air by my own arm and launched so hard it broke my collarbone. Notice hard it broke with collarbone. Here we have homophones, on a throne and honor throne. All alone on the throne goes with the king theme saying it's lonely at the top, but really honor throne, which goes with the next lines like of token of respect. A token of respect represents honor, so that's what's being thrown and continues with tossed in the air. Plus, to go with the respect and praise theme of that line, he mentions an homage poem and an ode. An ode is a type of poem devoted to the praise of a person or something. And that line is very interesting because it could be interpreted as Eminem saying that he threw respect out the window by trying to become so famous in his early days, and maybe the result of the fame is what broke him? Only the man himself knows. And when it's my time to go, I'm still not leaving. Once again, he sings a line, and it doesn't really rhyme with the rest. And those next two lines, I just love how he breaks down the sentences to keep following the drum pattern. Plus, he breaks it down all down in 4 syllables. Stop for no one. I don't know, but I've been told an obstacle that blocks your road. Knock it over, time to go for the pot of gold, cause, all right, 5 for the last one. Now here's some more of that singing that serves as a bridge between the last part of the verse. They say kings never die, just ask Jam Master Jay, they just grow wings and they fly, so hands up, reach for the sky, try to hold on and prolong these moments, cause in the blink of an eye, they'll be over. Jam Master Jay is one of the most iconic DJs in hip-hop history, as he was the DJ of one of the first mainstream rap group, Run DMC. Unfortunately, he was fatally shot on October 30th of 2002. But to Eminem's point, till this day, Jam Master Jay is still talked about and revered as one of the greatest DJs of all time. Now in those lines, do you recognize a similar thought that Eminem rapped before? Well, that would be try to hold on and prolong these moments, which is said in a different way until I collapse. This is your moment, and every single minute you spit and try to hold on to it because you may never get it again. Remember that one? Finally, for the last part, Eminem ramps it up once again in terms of delivery. The first 4 bars are around the earth sound, but it'll also introduce the E and the it's in sounds like in Genius, which will be the base of the middle section of that verse. Trying to secure your legacy like Shakur and ensure nobody's ever going to be what you were. So before you leave in this herd, you want people to feel the furor of a pure, evil, cerebral, berserk, deacon of word, syllable, genius of word, plus I'm thinking it there. Yeah, that was a great part. So all these earth sounds create an assonance. Also notice people, evil, and cerebral. In that moment when he talks about Tupac Shakur, it's pretty much a reference to Eminem's verse on Tupac's One Day at a Time when he says, no matter how much fame and success they attain, there will never be another me, and no matter what they do, there will never be another you. So it's really similar to what he just said. Again, another reference to his past songs. And also, that might just be me, but genius at work, it has to make you think of My Dad's Going Crazy's last verse. What you see is a genius at work, which to me isn't work, so it's easy to misinterpret it at first. Let's move on. Now this section is around the E and its in sounds I mentioned earlier, like in weakness or themis. Mistaking my kindness for weakness, killing with meanness, I went from powdered milk and farina. Farina is a form of milled wheat that is often used to make a hot cereal breakfast. To flipping burgers on the grill for some peanuts. Now that's an expression meaning for not a whole lot of money. And also, if you listen back, you will see he was able to rhyme kindness and powdered. At Gilbert's to Arenas, call me Gilbert Arenas, still appeal to the dreamers. Gilbert is a fast food restaurant in Detroit where Slim used to work. at. And Gilbert Arenas is a former NBA player. What I like here is that he probably realized that Gilbert Stu Arenas sounded like the player, so he included him in the rhyme. Plus, Still Appeal to the Dreamers is another way of saying that although he's mainstream, people who feel like underdogs can still relate to him. I made it to the silver screen, but Rocky still what the theme is. Khalil on the beat, cause making the beat ain't the same feeling to me as killing the beat is, or fulfilling to me is what filling the seat is. Oh, jeez. That's one of my favorite, that's my favorite part of the whole song. Wow. Now let's look at the meaning. Rocky still what the theme is. 8 Mile was seen as a modern day version of the original Rocky movie released in 1976 because it told the story of an underdog and they both had a similar tone. There are a couple of reasons why the theme is still Rocky. First, because he now feels like an underdog once again. Second, Rocky can be an adjective that means something that is difficult, so he is in a difficult position. And finally, well, the song is made for a boxing movie. After that, he basically says that rapping gives him much more than making beats. And that's true because I feel that lately there's not a whole lot of his songs that are produced by himself, and he doesn't really produce a whole lot of songs for other artists. And in the final bars, he's shouting out more underground artists or some that were at some point, specifically artists that were on the compilation Sound Bombing 2 released in 1999. And he does it all around the Ow sound. It's that Sound Bombing, the name of the album, Thurston Howe, the name of a rapper, Common, well, we all know Common, Underground, Diamond D, Outsiders, a group that he's shouted out very often, like in I Just Don't Give a Fuck. Stomach Growl, Throbbing Hunger, Out-Rhyming Everyone, God, just give me one shot, I swear I won't let you down. I'ma be around forever in a day, even in the ground, you ain't never gonna hear me say I ain't. Some rhyming that I particularly like in those lines, on the ground diamond, outsiders, and out-rhyming. And of course, just give me one shot, that's from Lose Yourself. This whole part is to show his hunger to get back on top. The reason why he says Thurston, Stomach Growl, and Throbbing Hunger, it's that same hunger he had when he was underground to make sure that King Mathers never dies. That was a great song once again. That's it, folks. Another great song in the books. If you enjoyed this content, remember, like this video, subscribe to my channel, go on my Facebook page and like it too. And if you can, go on my Patreon and show me your support. And remember, leave a comment below if you have a suggestion or maybe a different interpretation. Until then, this has been Unabashedly Reggie. Thanks. It's been real.